Dude, how good did it feel though? It felt great, right?
There's still videos online. I showed it to Ryan like a year ago of me signing an autograph. Like it's just like surreal with the Hemi G pad and everything.
Yeah, like
Crazy.
that's me signing an autograph. Wow.
I remember coming home and he was like, dude, I took pictures, I signed an autograph, and I was like, really? So you signed an autograph? I was like, damn, bro, because that didn't exist really at all because there were no gatherings at the point. So yeah, I remember being like, damn, man, I hope I get to sign an autograph.
It's time for the Garage Boozing Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Garage Boozing Podcast. Today, I am joined by two very special guests, two guests that I've known for a very long time. I want to say 14 or 15 years. We're going to get into that, but I am joined today by Ryan Abe, Pete Albano. Guys, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
What's good, Chase?
Great to be here, man. Great to see you.
Thank you guys for joining me. I know I ran a little late on you. I was helping with some moving, but thank you anyway for being here.
Of course, bro.
Absolutely.
So, so I know Pete and Ryan from the early days of YouTube. A lot of you know, but some of you might not know that before I converted my whole YouTube channel into a podcast, about 10 years before that, I did some creating on YouTube in the early days of YouTube. We're talking 2008, 2009, before most people even know what YouTube was, before YouTube was what it is now. YouTube back in the day was so much different, and we're going to get into all of that. But I'm trying to think. So do you guys know how we met?
Pete probably does. He's like an archive.
Yeah, he knows before we were talking on this podcast too, he's telling me things like I didn't even remember. And I'm like, wow, this guy's
a historian. I'm usually pretty good, but he's good with the small details.
He's a human. I remember like the media, bro.
Yeah. I remember like the smallest things. Yeah, it's crazy. If I remember correctly, in 2008 and 2009, I was doing the YouTuber review, and I think that attracted a lot of people, like Slusho and many others. Yeah. Like they were like, "Hey, do one on me." I think you may have approached me, and I was like, "Yeah, sure." And we did it. I think it's how it happened.
What about Ryan? Ryan, do you have any idea how we met? I'm not even sure.
Not even close.
Not even close.
I can't even remember how it all started, to be honest.
It may have been through that, like just through the, community, from the review.
Well, the community was small back then. I mean, it was easy to know people, even if you were just getting started. I mean, now there's 9,000 sub communities, but there was just one back then. So it was easier just to come across people.
Right.
Like back in the day, like when we were all like, 10 years, 15 years ago, 2009, whatever, when we were making videos, like if you had a solid following, it was so easy to like communicate with other people that had like just a couple thousand followers to 10,000 followers back in the day on YouTube. You're like, holy shit. Like
that was pretty unfathomable for me. Because now, me and Pete talk about this TikTok. You could just like water a plant for a year and get 10,000 followers on an account, where like on YouTube, he's still hard on YouTube, but even back then it was, 10,000 subscribers was pretty monumental in 2008, 9, 10. So if you had thousands, you garnered some people's attention for the right reasons.
Oh, yeah. And I think it was a lot easier back then to get 10,000 followers than it is now, because there's so much.
Oh, on YouTube for sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. TikTok, I don't know. Like you said, you could water a plant and be like famous the next day.
Yeah, you could do anything. Like, although TikTok fame is different than real fame, I will say that there is there's not a lot of fame. It's just artificial fame.
Sure.
There was, it was like a year or two ago, or what was it, 2021? There was this girl that had like millions of followers on TikTok and went to like a TikTok like VidCon.
Yeah, she went to VidCon. I was there.
Yeah, and like not one person came up to her, and it was, like so many people were like, "Oh, I can't wait to meet you," and like nobody ever showed up. Yep. So like, yeah, like that's terrible. Like where on YouTube, you had a chance, to maybe meet a few people at an event, depending on your size, Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty harsh reality there, but a lot has changed for sure.
But yeah, I don't remember. That goes back to saying I don't remember where we met, but it was probably, a lot of the friendships formed on YouTube messages and then Skype. That was like the easiest way. There was no Instagram. There was really no Twitter, or no one really used it. YouTube messages were really a big deal.
There were no DMs really.
Yeah, no, it was just YouTube. That was the only way. And then Skype. So that was it. So it was probably just, there was no Discord. So that was probably how we started becoming friends. I think just we all had the same curiosity, and we all wanted to figure out what the hell was going on, and we all didn't really know what was going on. And I think it was fun to talk to like-minded people, because also, like you said, YouTube was also really made fun of at the time. It's very glamorized now. Kids say they want to be YouTubers, which I always laugh at, because people made fun of us a pretty good amount in the early days.
All the time in school for making YouTube videos, and I don't give a fuck.
Right. And it's just crazy how things have changed to like, it's what people's dream career is, which is just, once again, I say that and I laugh because it's interesting how things have progressed over the years.
Oh yeah. I remember I got thrown into like a Skype group or something, and Charlie Puth was in that. That was back when like Charlie Puth was getting canceled all the time because he was like using other people's songs and making them, and his channel would get deleted, would get deleted. Yep. And I remember he shot out in the group chat one time. He's like, "Hey, if anyone wants a theme song, $5." Like,
yeah, Charlie's theme song.
$5.
$5. So I paid Charlie Puth $5 back in like 2009, 2010 to make Copy and Chase. If you don't subscribe, I'll punch you in the face. So like, dude, that's like, I love telling people that story. I was like, yo, Charlie Puth, like I used to know him before he blew up. Like he made my jingle, everything.
People don't believe you.
Yeah, people don't believe me because what I would do, I'd be like, dude, he follows me on Twitter. Look. And then like a year or two ago, he just randomly unfollowed me. And I was like, oh, I got no proof.
Yeah, he hit you with the unfollow.
Yeah, he hit me
I had a voicemail from him that I had saved on like my old iPhone. And he was just like, hey, Pete, it's Charlie Puth. And I'm just wondering, how did you do that thing? And I'm like, dude, now he's got more money than anybody.
Literally.
It's crazy.
But dude, good for him, though. Good for him.
I'm so happy somebody from our community made it. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. And like, dude, like he was just like us, man. Like had like the same following, like what wasn't huge, and then just like eventually blew up. I'm pretty sure it was that song for the Fast and Furious movie, right? That really
was Wiz Khalifa. Yeah.
The big start was he made the O2L song, which is my friend's collab channel, that blew up, and then he did a song for an Ellen contest. And
that
then
was it.
Signed her label. The label didn't do anything, and then he did the "See You Again" song. He only lives about 4 minutes down the road from me. We live in the same town. Here, I won't dox myself, but we live right near each other. So he has a really nice house, though. Obviously,
dude, just bring the camera to his house right now. Let's see what's up. Let's get him.
He's probably there.
You know what? You could have Chase's theme song playing on like a boombox.
Yeah,
like, exactly. Remember this?
Yeah,
he'd probably be like, "What the fuck is that?" He probably wouldn't.
He would act like he doesn't know what it is, but he would know.
He would know deep down.
Oh, yeah.
Of course he would.
He would know. But yeah, he definitely blew up. I actually got his channel unsuspended.
From George?
Yeah, from the head of partner support when I had that connection. And yeah, I won't put Charlie under wraps or anything, but I just, some things were going down and his channel got suspended, and I pulled some strings for him and got his channel back, and good for him. Good for him.
Ryan Abe makes it happen, baby.
Yeah, I did, man.
Literally makes it happen.
I tried.
Makes it happen.
Tried my best.
And speaking of which, man, is that shirt of yours still available on District Lines? The what was it? The Copy and Chase shirt?
I don't know if
they took me off.
Yeah, I don't even know if they're like, are they still up? I think they might have went under, or they're not selling.
I think they got bought out by somebody else.
Yeah, they.
Well, I remember. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
But they were just like the OG of merch,
Yeah. I remember I used to tell people like, yo, my shirt's on sale, the same place that Justin Bieber's shirt's on sale. Like, it's so cool, which it was wild. I remember because my mom lived in Winter Park, Florida, which is where their headquarters were. So Kevin, the guy who ran the show,
Kevin Gahilda-John.
Yeah, he invited me down and he wanted to do like a little interview thing with me that never got posted. But like he gave me a tour of the warehouse and everything. Dude, this place was beautiful. I couldn't believe. I was like, dude, like I'm 16 years old and merch with my fucking like name is being sold at this place. And he's like showing me all the stacks of like pre-printed merch, brings me over to the Copy and Chase section where all my shirts are printed. I'm like, this is unreal.
Yeah, merch back then was new too. People didn't know how the hell we were getting merchandise, because I had a shop on there as well. And like people were baffled at how it even existed, because I
still have that shirt too.
Yeah, I wish I had it. I don't have it. I literally don't.
Got mine. Yeah, mine's somewhere.
I wish. I've put out so much merch in the last 5-6 years, but I really just wish I had my original one because I really liked it.
Dude, Ryan is like the merch king now. Like, let me tell you, it's like he has like dug into it so far, and I'm like, man, that's awesome. Like he's got like shirts that say like it's like tagline. People say it sells out. Like it's so cool. You
Yeah.
know, like, it really is such. It's like crazy to think where we all started and where things are now. It's just we're the trailblazers. Really, is really what it is.
100%.
Oh yeah. So how did you guys get started on YouTube? What made you want to start making videos?
Ryan, I'll let you take that one.
That's a good question. I would say that I mean I always liked attention, right? I feel like that's the
We
real
all do,
reason.
right? If you're
Like,
making videos, you like attention.
and
yeah.
you know, it was in that time where I was just graduating high school. I was 17 and I was just trying to figure out some outlets, and I was really just bored, discovered that I had a webcam on my computer that I got for college. It was a Dell Studio laptop. And I just was messing with the little like, you know, there were bubble effects and the big face effects and things. And you know, I think it was one of my friends that said like you should upload stuff to YouTube, and I didn't really even know too much about YouTube. I still thought like subscribing was, you had to pay and all these things. I didn't know much about it. And then it was Soldier Boy put out a song called Birdwalk. It was a follow-up to his Crank That song, and it was really bad. And I just thought it was I thought it was horrible. So I set up my little TV tray. I put on my Hollister shirt with a bird, and I just made fun and mocked the dance, and I uploaded it to YouTube. And that's when I started trying to develop any type of marketing skills to get it out there. And that's kind of how I found Pete, through that. So yeah, it was really just a combination of attention and boredom and curiosity, I would say.
I mean, that I would say that's pretty much the same for me for the most part. Originally, though, in 2006, I had a band with my cousin Oddball Matt, who Chase, I think you remember him. We had like this little like band where we would have people play all different instruments. It was me and him, and then we just had like friends that would just jam with us. And we played a couple of shows, and there was like videos and pictures. So I made a slideshow, and I'm like, I wanted to put it on our MySpace at the time.
Hell yeah, I love MySpace.
Right? And they didn't have a video feature back then. So everyone was uploading to YouTube and embedding it onto MySpace.
I was just going to say that. I used to go to like the famous bands and stuff and like take my YouTube videos and embed it in their comments.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that way it would just like blow up in views.
Yeah, I see. That was a really good idea. I didn't even think.
Or the auto start. So you put it on auto start, they go to their page and like they don't have to look at my video. It was just getting views.
Ryan, we didn't even think of that. That's a great idea.
No, I did that for the Soldier Boy song.
Oh, you did? Wait, you
yeah,
did.
yeah.
That was in the early days of Small and Large.
They actually fixed, I think eventually MySpace made, or YouTube made it so it didn't autoplay. They of course changed it, but it did work for a bit.
Right. But anyway, from there, that's when I started like looking at the home screen, and I saw like What the Buck and all those people like Renetto
What the Buck
and you know Philip DeFranco, and they were all on the home screen. And I'm like, what are these? Why are these guys so important that they're on the main screen? So like I started watching them, and then this is where things got crazy. And Ryan knows, I saw the video response feature, and I was like, wait a minute. So I could like respond with a video instead of just a comment. I was like, all right. So then like I just started like trolling these big popular videos, just saying like, oh, this is stupid and blah, blah, blah. And then I started getting like hundreds and thousands of views like within 24 hours. For all these hate comments, but I'm like still getting views though. This is cool.
The hate, take the views.
Right. So that's really where it got started. And that's how Ryan found me, by watching some popular video, and my face was on the related videos. And then that's how we started talking. He was like, how are you doing this? And then we talked on, what was it, like MSN Messenger?
Yeah, MSN Messenger.
I didn't know Messenger.
I didn't know what he was at the time. I remember just seeing, because all he would do in the videos was go, huh? Like that.
Yeah, like,
he wouldn't say anything. He would just say, huh?
Some things, yeah.
So I remember thinking, like, is he someone that is mute? Like, is he someone that is able? I'm not even kidding. Is he able to speak? And then we started chatting and messages, because he had there were the medals on the YouTube channel back in the day.
Yeah.
And his was like top viewed, what for something. And I was like, I remember just being like, dude, like, what the hell are you doing? Like, how are you getting so many views? And then we had like a normal convo, and I was like, okay, this guy seems like pretty normal. And then we just started talking more, but I initially I thought you were a mute or something, and I didn't want to make fun. I didn't know what to do. And then, you know, we started becoming more friendly, but Pete's really probably the only reason I got partner, because he was the one that showed me more about YouTube than just like posting a basic video, you know, and just hoping it gets views and like just wishing, versus like there's other means of getting views and trying to, because partnership back then was either non-existent or just started, so it was really hard, and it was like harder than getting into college, legit, for me at least. So like
when they would deny you, you gotta wait like months.
Oh,
I got denied multiple times.
Yeah. You know, and one thing I will say though is I was just fascinated with the fact that you could manipulate the system to get thousands of views.
Are you talking about Tube Blaster Pro? Because that's on my list here.
I was going to say, I didn't know if you wanted to bring that up.
That's the game changer of all game
I didn't know if you wanted to bring that up.
I'll bring it up. I'll talk about that show.
I talk about Tube Blaster a decent amount on podcasts. I think
it's the best $60 I ever spent in my life.
It was a fascinating and ahead of its time system there. It really was. Whoever made that, there's a lot of us that owe them a lot, to say the least.
My hat's off to whoever made that. So for those of you that don't know, and you probably don't know, so I'll explain it. Tube Blaster Pro was this program that came out like in the early days of YouTube, where you could literally like download this program, pay $60 for an unlimited like lifetime like membership before YouTube caught onto it and like kicked you off. And what this would do is like you would like pick a video. For example, I'd go to Smosh, and I'd go to Smosh's most recent video, and then they'd go through the comments and like take out all the names and like save them. So you could choose your little message. So I'd be like, hey, I'm Chase, Copy and Chase. Check out my channel, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, saw you commented on Smosh.
Yeah, I love Smosh. So check me out.
Yep.
So this would literally take thousands of names, and you would run this program, and it would run for hours. I remember I would run it on my dad's desktop computer while I went to school.
Those hot computers.
Yeah, desktop computer, man. And it would literally send message, and it'd be so fast.
I have the Dell that I used to use on my hand, on my arm.
No way! I didn't even know you had that.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, dude, these desktop computers were nuts. So they'd send so many messages, and like, sure, probably 75% of them would be like, oh, what the fuck? But like, dude, the 25% that were like, oh, let's check out his channel. Wow, this is great. Subscribe. Yep. Bro, I got thousands of subscribers, like weeks. And that eventually led me to being partnered by YouTube, which also, for those of you that don't know, that means that's when YouTube is like putting ads on your videos. You're getting paid off ad clicks, stuff like that. So I remember after buying this program for $60, I'm 16 years old, by the way. I don't even have a job. I don't know where I got the $60 from. But that day that the YouTube partner program accepted me, I remember I made a video running around my mom's living room. I'm like, I'm a partner. I was so excited.
And nobody else in the world cared. That's
nobody cared.
Yeah. Nobody even knew what it was. I also, when I got partner, I didn't really make my first $100 for months and months. Honestly, I didn't even hit the $100 threshold. Really, I was just lying to my friends, saying that I was making a couple $100 a month because it was less embarrassing than to be like, oh, I'm not really making money. And then we'll get into in a little bit, but like the VMAs thing with Kanye West really changed my life. Tube Blaster and Kanye were the two things that really like changed my life. Because Tube Blaster, Pete told me about it, and I was fascinated with it, and it was completely legal at the time. There were no terms of service against it. There was no mass messaging thing. So it was, I remember just waking up one of the first or second days it was working, and I think I got 400 subscribers, and I think I cried or almost cried. I remember just being like, no, this is not actually happening. Like, what? And then some of the messages being like, thanks so much. Wow, I love your videos. And I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever, at the time, it was the craziest thing I've ever experienced.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You know, and we got real good at it, all of us, you know, like we got real crafty, and, you know, it just was life-changing. It really was. And, you know, I remember one funny thing though was Pedro Slusho told Pete that if he used it, he couldn't use it, what was it, on the weekends or something?
I couldn't. I could only run it on the weekends because Google employees were out playing golf and not monitoring.
And Pete believed him. He just didn't want Pete to grow faster than him, so he told.
He was afraid. He knew.
Yeah, and I remember Pete told me that, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it anyway, and I just ran it during the weekdays. And then Pete was like, be careful, and I was like, that doesn't make much sense.
Dude, I ran that shit 24/7. I didn't care.
Oh yeah, but my computer would get really hot, really hot.
Yes, the desktop would be blowing out steam.
Like my computer was really bad, and I was praying that I would wake up every day and it would still be running. And sometimes it would be stopped, and you just keep. But yeah, it was there were a couple days where I got 600, 700, 800 subscribers for at least a couple days in a row. And I remember just being like, this doesn't make any sense, dude.
It was like Christmas every day.
And I knew it wasn't going to last. I knew it wasn't going to last forever. I knew eventually there would be something that came from it, but like, I didn't really care. I was just happy to be using something that was so bad. People had no idea.
No clue.
And they were so excited that we were talking to them. And it was fun. I would reply back to people too and have like little conversations and be like, hey, thanks so much. You know, it just was, it was an attention whore's dream back in 2009. And it was, it was amazing. And then the VMAs thing that happened, like I said, I didn't even make $100. Didn't get an official check yet. And then the Kanye West thing happened. I remember called Pete immediately. I was like, bro, we got to make a video on this. Like, just big deal just happened. Kanye West just interrupted Taylor Swift. And I made a video on Taylor Swift's side and it just blew up. It got homepage. It got 3 million views. And then I remember it said I made $700, which I was okay with, but I thought it was going to be more. And then at the end of the month, you got a bonus, which people don't remember. You used to get paid the big bulk at the end. I didn't know that existed because I never made money. I woke up the one day and it said $6,700, and I immediately called. I shout on you, Brandon, and I was like, "Is your AdSense glitchy? Because nothing changed for me, and it says I have 6,000. I just want to." He's like, "That's yours, homie." And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what do you mean that's mine? He's like, that's your money, homie, man. That's the bonus. And I was like, what are you talking? And that was the real money. So I literally was at Best Buy and I quit the next day. I was like, $7,000. I'm like, that's more than I've made in the last 8 months of working there, basically. It was a minimum wage job. So I quit and I have not worked another job since.
Wow. Good for you, bro.
It's just, so like that day, whatever week, month was legit life-changing. My dad, when I got the check, and you know, when they said Google on the check back in the day, like, and had the little Google logo, he was just like, this is crazy.
It was surreal getting them.
Like, you have a check from Google. I took it to the bank and everyone was just very like, what is this? Because it was so, I was just baffling. So
it was unheard of.
Yeah, it was just the coolest thing. I remember feeling so happy and proud because I didn't have to lie anymore to my friends. And and then I used that money to get braces and I bought a Monte Carlo and that was it. Then I was off to the races.
Wait, you bought a car with that money?
Yeah, I got like a Monte Carlo for like $1,400. It was sick. I loved it. And I got a good deal on it. And then I bought Invisalign and then I started upgrading my camera equipment. That $6,700 went a long way in 2009.
Oh yeah, the $6,700 back then is way different than $6,700 now. But it's so funny because like New Blaster, like, dude, it sent me off to the moon. And like before, like they cut it off, like I was able to like have a YouTube gathering at Universal Studios where like D Fizzy came, dude, Charles Trippy came. Like it was.
You were there.
No,
he wasn't there.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
I still see D Fizzy every week or two though.
Oh really?
He lives close by. He streams on Twitch too all the time, so he's doing really well. On Twitter. Yeah, he's my boy.
So I
remember that. Wasn't there a fake blood incident?
Yeah. So what his name was
Random Shadow Man.
Random Shadow Man. Yes. So how
dude, I'm gonna ruin your life, dude.
I posted a video and I was like, hey, because my mom lived at like 20 minutes away from Universal Studios. And I just on a whim, I'm like, I want to make a YouTube gathering. Like I'm in my prime right now. Like this is like the highest peak I've got.
How many subs did you have at the time? 40 or 50 probably? Right around
I want to say 60 because 80 was where I peaked before YouTube shut off.
Cut it off. Yeah.
80 is as high as I got. So I'm at like 50, 60, something like that.
Dude, even in today's standards, 80,000 is still 80,000.
Crazy. Yeah, that's a lot of people.
So I posted a YouTube video. I'm like, hey, like I want to make this YouTube gatherings in City Walk at Universal Studios because that's before you go into the park. So that's like the free section where like all the restaurants are and stuff. Yep. And this video got so much traction that I was making this YouTube gathering 2 weeks away that I got a DM from like the customer relations manager of Universal Studios. And she goes, hey, like I see you're making a YouTube gathering, but like, oh, that's going to be a lot of people. We don't want to crowd City Walk. So we actually have the Rising Star karaoke bar that you guys can have for free for 2 hours, unlimited water, soda, stuff like that. And you can talk on the microphone and everything. We just want to take the crowd out of like the public. And I'm like, oh my God, that's sick. So this YouTube gathering went from like just being out in the hot sun to like this air conditioned Rising Bar karaoke bar. I got to talk. And then Charles Trippy sends me a DM, tells me he's coming. And I'm like, dude, I still love Charles Trippy to this day. Like I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing. So I remember back to the bloody thing. We're waiting in line for like the Rise and Karaoke bar to open so we can all go in. And random shadow man, Chris, he just brought like these blood packets like in his pockets.
That's such a weird thing to bring to a gathering.
Oh my God.
Have you ever met the guy?
Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you my story about Chris when I met him when you're done.
Okay. So you've met Chris. So yeah. So, I mean, like,
he's an interesting cat.
Very, very cool, but
no, he's a nice guy. He's harmless.
Very nice, very harmless, but definitely weird. And if you're watching this, Chris, I hope you would agree that you are weird.
We're all weird.
We're all weird. I'm weird too. So this guy has like these, like, not even blood packets. He's got like pouches, like this big in like all 4 of his pockets. And I forget what he said before he did it, but he randomly just takes out these blood packets and starts bathing himself in them. Dude, and I'm running this shit. This is my YouTube gathering.
Yeah.
I'm mortified. I'm like, but then he was so far in, I was just like, all right, fuck it. He's already here. So I grabbed one of the blood pouches and I'm pouring it all over him. He ends up getting kicked out, obviously, because there's blood all over Universal Studios. Why that happened, I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, the thing opens up, dude. And like, I don't even know what to do. Like, I'm 17, 16, something like that, very young. And I have like all these people, dude, everybody here knew me too, which blew my mind. I'm like, holy shit, I'm famous. I'm like signing autographs and stuff. I'm like, hey, I'm Chase. Yeah. So like I grabbed the microphone when it first starts. I'm like, hey, I'm Chase. Like I had my brother with me as my bodyguard. Like we got a bunch of people here for you. We also had a Stir Fry TV was there. And then there was, I forget the name. They would do like the juggling shit.
Oh, Rootberry.
Yeah, Rootberry. Yes, thank you. Yes, Rootberry was there.
Yeah, they were cool.
Yeah, oh, they were awesome.
They were really good friends with Stir Fry, I remember.
Yeah,
Rootberry was good.
I remember I went on a Stir Fry TV's tour bus with Scott Martin and then
River
came on. Yeah, and then we went like go-karting or something. And I'm 16 years old. And my mom's just letting me hang out with all these adults, just like going go-karting and shit. And I was like, oh, I'll be back by 7. It's like 9 o'clock. And I'm like an hour away in Florida. My mom's freaking out. I'm like, Mom, I'm fine. I'm just with some YouTubers.
I'm with the Stir Fry guys.
Right?
Stir Fry guys.
That was fucking nuts, dude. And yeah, so like the blood thing happened. And then, I don't know, we talked to the mic and then like, it was just all hanging out. I'm signing autographs, taking pictures with people. That was
like a lot of people, right? I remember it being packed.
At least 200. At least 200.
It was a lot of people.
It blew my mind. I was like, I can't believe all these people are here.
That's impressive, man. Really.
Dude, that's like I said, my 15 minutes of fame. I love showing people that video. I was like, look, this is me. I'm like 16 years old and I'm doing all this. And the people at Universal Studios were so nice, dude. So great. They're like, oh, you need another soda, running around. Like, oh, dude, it was so sick. Like, they didn't have to do that. I didn't pay for that. You know, they
had never seen any, the world had never seen this before.
Right.
Yes, that was new influencer stuff was new at the time.
Because literally, it's like, if you think about it, you are a rock star to X amount of people, you know? And that's what YouTube and all these social media platforms provided. And I mean, even now, I mean, dude, look what happened in the city with what was that guy's name? That
Isonat.
Yes, caused the riots and stuff to happen. It's basically what you had, but on like a crazy level now, you know, and it's only getting scarier.
Yeah. Yeah, my Chris story. Was definitely no blood, which is good. No fake blood, but it was pretty awkward because I was at a Playlist Live in Orlando, like the big YouTube gathering, and that's when my channel was exploding, and I had a collab channel that was exploding. So I was one of the bigger stars of their event, and I had security and stuff, and you know that was when like I was getting really mobbed. So I had just a mob of like 30 or 40 people around me wherever I went, and I just remember walking with security through this path to get to the main hall to do my meet and greet. And I see Howie reporting live and random shadow man just like in the distance doing this. And the guard was kind of like, oh, and I was like, no, I know them. And it was just such an awkward conversation because I have so many people around me and I'm trying to take selfies and stuff. And then Chris was like, what's up, dude? And I was like, hey, Chris, how are you? And then Howie was just like standing there, like trying to give me a handshake, and it missed, and it was really awkward. And then Chris asked me if I could hang out, and I was like, man, like I have a lot going on, bro. I have a meet and greet and a panel. And he just followed me for like 30 minutes, and then they like kicked him out of the venue hall or whatever because he didn't have a ticket. And then when I left, like 2 hours later, he was still standing by the door outside waiting for me. And we got a picture. There's a picture somewhere. And then I was like, Chris, I'm so sorry. I gotta go to a panel now. And he was like, okay, dude, good to see you, dude, and just walked away. I was like, that's crazy. He was sweating bullets. It was like 100 degrees out, raining at the same time. And I was like, damn, dude, I wish I had more time to hang out, say what's up. But it was just so funny seeing him and Howie, just two old school YouTube people just in the distance. It was such a funny thing.
What a nice guy, though. Like he very nice.
No. It was, like I said, I was actually happy to see him. It was just it was just so random. It was the last thing I expected to see.
Random Shadow Man,
yeah, literally, he lived up to his name. But it was that was a funny time, to say the least.
I remember when he was pouring the blood on him and stuff. Me, D Fizzy, and A Lucky.
Yeah,
we're just sitting there and we're like,
love Lucky. Yeah, what do you do in that situation besides just be like?
Like I said, I was nervous at first. I'm like, this is my YouTube gathering. But then like there's so much blood on him. I'm like, all right, well, there's one more.
Howie at yours too? Wasn't Howie there for that, or he was not there, Chase? I feel like Howie kind of went to all.
I don't think I remember Howie being there from videos, if I remember correct. I think I would have seen him post something about it.
Howie reporting live?
He was he was like a news. I don't know how to describe Howie.
I remember
he was not news. Well, he was.
Well, he was. Yeah, he's a nice guy. Yeah, I like Howie. I just haven't talked to him in a long time.
Yeah, Howie's a nice guy. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. He wasn't there, but it was wild. I just remember though, like when the whole thing ended and like everybody was outside and like talking and stuff, I had my opportunity to talk to Charles Trippy. And like, dude, that was just like YouTube back then was like, dude, CTFXC was like up at the top.
Yeah, they were pretty peak up there.
Dude, yeah, very peak. And it's like the fact that this guy like came to Universal Studios for this event that I'm organizing, like first thing I do, I go, hey, I'm Chase. He's like, yeah, you're the guy that organized this, right? I'm like, he knows.
Big deal.
What a cool feeling. Big deal, man. Big deal. What a cool guy, though. Like so down to earth. We sat there and talked for like 20 minutes just about like life and like normal stuff. And I'm just a kid talking to this guy that I idolize.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Charles, at that point too, was like a superstar, literally.
Yeah, that was back when he was with Ali Speed. So that was before Ali number 2.
He and Charles ended up becoming really good friends over the years too. And yeah, he's I got to go to a couple other tour stops and go on stage with them when they were on We the Kings, which was fun. And
right, that's his band, right?
Yeah, he plays bass in that band. So I got to do a lot of the Warp tours with them, and he always hooks it up. Yeah, he's a great dude. I still talk to him every month or so. We chat about some things. He's just a great human. Always has been too.
What a nice guy! Like literally down to earth, nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, did I ever tell you at VidCon, the first one that I went to in 2010, the I guess inaugural?
Yeah, that was the first one. I didn't go to that one.
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, we missed each other by 1 year. Yep. Long story short, we were cool with Prank vs. Prank at the time, like Jesse and Jen and all that. And
Prank vs. Prank.
I was talking with Jen, and Charles and Allie walked up because they were friends with Jesse and Jen. And I was really nervous to meet Charles Trippy. I was like, oh, that's Charles. And she's like, oh, yeah, you don't know him? I was like, no, I never met him. She goes, do you want to meet him? I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I got all like,
yeah, I want to meet him. Yeah.
Of course. So then anyway, they introduced me, and I literally spoke to him for like 40 minutes about camera equipment and stuff and just about YouTube, and just like such a very down-to-earth, cool person. And it's like, it's kind of like that when you meet a lot of celebrities sometimes too. They're just very shy, down-to-earth people, you know, and until you really get a chance to meet them. But yeah, that was my story.
Hey, do you want to meet Leonardo DiCaprio? Oh, I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
I don't know, but all right, fine.
Yeah, the first VidCon, I wish I was at that one. I got to go to like 7, but I didn't go to the first one. Unfortunately, I missed it. But it looked like it was fun. It was just kind of in the hotel, right? For the most part, a lot of it was in the hotel. Yeah. And I missed 7, 8, 9, which sucked. I wish I was at that.
The 2 that I went to, you didn't go to.
I never went to. I never got to do anything with Pete when it comes.
I was never at a gathering.
Although we went to partner meetings together, which were cool. But yeah, I never got to go to 7, 8, 9. Do you remember 7, 8, 9, Chase?
No, I have no idea what that is.
That was one of the first not mainstream, but I don't know. Yeah,
it was actually the last before VidCon. That was the last big gathering in New York City, July 8th, 2009. You were upstate though.
Oh no, I do remember that because I remember the dates. Yes,
it was a very big deal. It was a very big deal. There was probably 1,000 people, I would say.
You were gonna come down, but you didn't have a ride. You didn't have a ride though.
I didn't have a
driver's license. I was gonna say you were probably
make it there. Yeah, I remember.
I would have went if Chase was local. I would have just said come with me because we're both in New York. So yeah. But that was the last of the big. Well, you did get to meet Obama that day.
I did meet Obama that day. That's why I couldn't go, which was like great that I got to meet the president. But I was more upset that I wasn't at 789, which is so ironic. But I really actually was. I actually was disappointed that it was in the same day. But Pete signed an autograph that day. I remember being jealous of him. I was like, wow.
Took pictures, signed autographs for the first time in my life. And that was the end of that. That was my 15 minutes of fame.
Dude, how good did it feel though? It felt great, right?
There's still videos online. I showed it to Ryan like a year ago of me signing an autograph. Like it's just like surreal with the Hemi G pad and everything. Crazy.
Like, that's me signing an autograph. Wow.
I remember coming home and he was like, dude, I took pictures, I signed an autograph, and I was like, really? So you signed an autograph? I was like, damn, bro, because that didn't exist really at all because there were no gatherings at the point. So yeah, I remember being like, damn, man, I hope I get to sign an autograph. Like,
and then little did Ryan know.
Right? Little did he know.
And you get fucking exhausted of signing autographs eventually. But yeah, it was a really fun time. I wish I was there for that. That's when Ray William Johnson and Pete almost became buddies, and then it just never really worked out.
I don't know if we have enough time on here to be telling all these stories, but my Ray William
Johnson great stories though.
Very interesting one.
Can I pee real quick before you tell that story?
Yeah.
I gotta piss like a racehorse.
Do your thing, bro.
Oh, yeah, and support for the Garage Boozing Podcast. It is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped will help you trim up the family jewels to make everything nice and right for the ladies. Make sure that you're using promo code TGBP20 for 20% off your Manscaped products. Oh, yeah!
All right, Pete. So you were gonna say your
the Ray story?
Yeah, your Ray William Johnson story.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know how much time we had on here.
You can just like spark note it.
Yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do. Basically, the 789 gathering that night, right when the gathering started kind of like unwinding, everyone kind of just started dispersing amongst Manhattan, kind of doing their own thing. So people would go out to get some food or whatever. But then later that night, everyone reconvened at this one bar. I forget the name of it, but you literally walked in and wall to wall, like every YouTuber that you could think of that was there. Like Kev Jumba, Shay Carl.
Kev Jumba.
Yeah, crazy, right? Like I think Ryan Higa was there, Timothy DeLaGhetto, like all of these people just wall to wall. And back then, this was unheard of. Like this, it was like a fantasy world. I was like, what is happening? All I know is I was sitting there and I was drinking with Shay Carl, and I was like, Shay, where the hell is Phil? I heard Phil didn't want to come because he didn't have the money. And so Shay he starts laughing in my face. He goes, Phil not having the money? And I was just like, so that was just BS. He goes, no, dude, he just didn't want to come, Yeah. So I was like, whatever. So I'm drinking with Shay Carl. Then I embarrassed myself in front of Rhett and Link. That was bad. Because when I looked up at Rhett, I was smashed. And I was like, holy shit, you're tall. And I just like blurted it out. And he was like, hey, man. And I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I just didn't know you were that tall. So anyway, I get super smashed. And then at the last second, I realized I have to go to work tomorrow morning. This was like a Friday, right? I'm in the city. I worked in retail at the time. I worked at Staples, the office supply store. And I had to be there for like 9 a.m. And it's already like 1 or 2 in the morning. And I'm like, oh, man. So I'm like, all right, I got to leave. I can't call out or whatever. Like they had like a skeleton crew. Like I had to be there. There was no calling out. I go to call a cab outside. It's pouring rain. I walk outside. There's the awning over the bar, like where you can talk on your phone and stuff. And there's one person out there, Ray William Johnson, just by himself. Because at that time, he was just starting to get kind of well known. So he wasn't as huge as he was like a few months later. Long story short, he's on the phone talking to somebody, but he pulls me aside. I was like, hey, what's up, Ray? I gotta go. He's like, yo, Hemi, man, like we gotta hang out, bro. Like, and if he wasn't on the phone, I would have exchanged numbers with him. So he was like, dude, hit me up or something. Like, let's do something. Let's work on a video. And I was like, yeah, bro. Like, I'll hit you up. And blah, blah, blah. You know. And then a cab pulls up. I hop in the cab, and that was the last time I ever saw Ray. And just nothing came of it. I think I tried reaching out on Twitter, and like he just never got back to me. You know. And
He
who knows?
exploded though, like 6 months later.
Yeah, that's when YouTube gave him that push on the homepage for like a week or 2 weeks or whatever it was. But who knows what could have happened if he was not on the phone and we actually exchanged numbers.
Should have waited.
I know.
You should have waited.
But because I was so anxious because I had work, I was like, I gotta go home.
Yeah.
Well, he also didn't know he was going to be the biggest YouTuber in the world for a bit. So
your job at Staples ruined your chance of being best friends with Ray William Johnson.
Legit.
You know what's so funny about Ray William Johnson too is like my young adolescent mind, I didn't even realize for the longest time that his Equals 3 show was a ball sack.
Yeah. Everything was revolved off of a dick joke, right? Pretty much.
I'm like, what the? For the longest time, I'm like, Equals 3, like it sounds cool. Like, what does it mean? But like,
it was very cool the way he.
I'll put it on camera here so you guys can see what Equals 3 is. It's an equal sign with a 3. Yeah, it's a nuts.
Yeah, he was good at what he did for sure.
Remember, he did the thing. It's like, my name is Ray William Johnson. You've been watching Equals 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? You know, like it just flowed so well. Like he just knew. Like he just
he was a marketing genius, still is to be honest. But
Brilliant.
yeah, he was the best. But yeah,
well,
the What If for Pete.
He had that little rap group too. What was it called?
Your Favorite Martian?
Yeah,
Your Favorite Martian, and then
that was his animated
Fatty
Spins. Yeah, his animated show was
he had that he had that one song and
You and Your Mom.
Yes, and who was the other guy?
McFry, our friend McFry.
He's like, what was his song? I like licking ass, something about licking ass. He had a song that was like
very 2010 stuff.
Very 2010. And in the video about licking ass, he's like,
Mick Fry's another OG of the early days, man. Like
he's a talented guy.
Like honestly, yes, very talented. He really was. And then the whole thing went down with Ray, and that was a whole thing.
Yeah, falling out.
I like ass. I like licking ass, and that's how it was. Yeah,
it literally, it's still available on iTunes.
That's funny.
No shit. It's not.
I swear, if you look it up, it comes off.
Well, yeah, you got to remove it yourself for it to go off. So I mean,
dude, I would bop to that. I'd be at the gym, you know, like
There's a Hemi Jeep song too. If you type in the Hemi Jeep 19 song, it comes up. McFry.
There you go. McFry was a legend
in his own right.
So funny story for all you guys, real quick. Obviously you guys know this, but for all of you that don't, so we were talking about how like I got started in YouTube and stuff, but before I had my copy and chase persona, I had a YouTube channel before that, which is where I started growing before I branched off one of my own with my best friend Riley. Our YouTube channel was called Small and Large. We just made silly videos, and I'm pretty sure actually I know for a fact Small and Large is how I met both of you. But one day I was live, and it was not Skype, it wasn't Zoom, it was one of those things
Block TV.
What?
Block TV.
Live TV. Is that what you said?
Blog. BLOG TV.
Oh, Blog TV. Yes, it was
Blog TV was great.
Yeah, so like what people would do back on YouTube in the day, they'd be like, hey, I'm going live on Blog TV at this, blah, 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 blah. So I was just there like voicing my frustration because with the whole small and large thing, I love my best friend Riley to death. He's my brother. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking shit here. This is 15 years ago. So we had this YouTube channel where like he was a personality. He was the large. I was the small. But I was doing all the YouTube editing. I was doing all the fan interaction. I was doing everything. So I'm like, dude, like he was actually supposed to be there for that live stream and he blew me off. He had to do something. So I'm like, I'm pissed. I'm like, dude, you know, like I got to branch off. I got to do something by myself. So I'm like trying to run through. I was like, what could my name be? Like what rhymes with Chase? Like, how do we get here? And Ryan was actually on that chat, and he put in the chat, he goes, copy and chase.
That's funny. Yeah.
And I'm
always
like,
thinking.
I'm like, copy and chase. I was like, well, it doesn't really rhyme. Copy and paste, copy and chase. I get it. But I was like, this might work. So I remember I made a YouTube channel. Boom. Still had my 2 Blaster Pro at the moment. Bam. Sword of the Moon. Copy and chase was
marketable.
Instant success.
Instant success. That man, Ryan, made that name. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have thought of copy and chase. Like I don't even know what I was thinking. I don't know what names I was thinking. But
Well,
that
I'm
is the creator behind Copy and Chase.
I loved Blog TV. I used to live on that platform. I loved it.
Oh, it was the best.
And Ryan, for skits and giggles, same
Yeah,
thing.
for Skits and Giggles was my parody channel. That was very coveted, and I love puns and just wordplay. I think it works well with. It did work well with those channel names back in the day. It was catchy.
Oh, yeah. And dude, Copy and Chase, like you fucking crushed it with that name too. Cause I remember like I have people make me a couple intros before I had Charlie Puth make me like the actual like punch into grandma, like
yeah, I remember that one. That was funny.
Punch you in the face thing, like, great. But like, dude, I would have never thought of that. And back to Blog TV, dude, I'd be so happy when I'm like in this Blog TV and I see like it's climbing. There's 200 people in here. It's climbing to 300 people. I'm like, why do these people just want to sit here and watch me just talk?
Yeah,
so cool. And if it wasn't for Tube Blaster, I don't think I would have had all those people there, which is so crazy.
I literally on Tube Blaster had 1,800 subscribers that I earned just on my own, you know? And then when Slusho started with the, you know, the Tube Blaster stuff and started, you know, going crazy, then I started using it. Within 3 or 4 months, I went from 1,800 to like 42,000 subscribers. It was insane gains, you know? And like, I was sending thousands and thousands of messages. It's insane, like the instant success that it brought. And same thing, like my content, like when I go back now and look at it, was just like dreadful. It was hard.
I hate watching my old videos, dude.
So bad. And then like I didn't understand back then. I'm like, your videos suck. And I'm like, but I put a lot of work into that, you know? And it's just like you don't realize like people are not going to like you, but if you send enough messages, maybe enough people will like you, you know?
Yeah, you just got to filter out. That's pretty much all it is.
I remember hitting 80,000 subscribers and I was like, oh, I'm so close to 100. This is sick. I was so high. And then Tube Blaster gets canceled, right? And I'm like, my life's over. I'm ruined. Like, I'm like,
it ruined a lot of people.
Yeah, so then I would send messages to people by myself and then I get flagged for spam and shit like that. And I'm like, oh my God, they're really cracking down. I'm like, what do I do now? So I'm just making videos and they're not getting the views they used to before because I would tag that video in the message that I would send them. So they click the video and the video is getting views. So like, I'm like, oh shit, what do I do now? So then unfortunately from that point, it was like, for me.
That's how it was for a lot of people. If you didn't evolve like to other things, you know, and luckily, like that's when, how do I put this? That's when I think you stopped and Nick and a bunch of others like that were using Tube Blaster kind of like faded off.
Sea of Nick?
Magical Sea of Nick, yep. Now he's like a crazy investor on Wall Street.
Oh, dude, yeah, I'm still friends with him on Facebook. The guy's fucking crushing it, man.
Yeah, he's so smart, man. So I wish Nick the best. But you know, me, Ryan, and you know, Brandon and Slush, we started kind of like shifting our channels to trending topics and stuff. And then that's what kept us relevant, you know, was like viral videos. So we were always like gaining subscribers, where before, if you just made original content where no one was searching for it, it was like impossible to get it out to anybody, you know? That's why doing skits was a lot of fun to record and edit and all that, but no one would watch it if you didn't title it something searchable, you know? So it's a game. It's just a game.
I remember back in the day, Miley Cyrus deleted her Twitter. And I kind of followed on to the.
You were the first one to make a video about it.
So I made a reaction to Miley Cyrus deleting her Twitter, and it got like 2 million views. I
remember that.
And like, it's not the video itself. I have it privated now because it's so fucking cringy, and it's me just like, oh, Miley deleted her Twitter. I'm just like singing a song. I'm like, why the fuck did I do that? But the views that it got just from the name was sick. Well, that was the only thing Tube Blaster that I had like traction from. Oh yeah. So would you guys agree that like YouTube set the stage for like Vine and TikTok?
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, because it built the foundation for it, because there, you know, it built the foundation for creators, number one, and like personalities, and set a stage for people to be quote unquote famous without having to be on TV or be a singer or be in movies, which was impossible before. And then that just trickled into Vine and then TikTok. So yeah, it's without YouTube, there wouldn't be Vine or TikTok. It just wouldn't have caught on.
It's funny.
100%.
It's funny because like when Vine was first introduced, like, so like I was making YouTube for a while, and then like Tube Blaster Pro like quit and stuff. And I just like, I got discouraged because my views weren't up as much as they used to be. And then like, not gonna lie, I started smoking weed with my friends and just get distracted, shit like that. So like that, I was like, YouTube, it's a thing in the past, like whatever. And then Vine comes out, right? And all of my friends to this day, they're like, dude, you should have hopped on Vine. Like, you missed the Vine train, which I agree wholeheartedly to this day. I wish I fucking made Vines because I think I would have crushed it. But it's funny because when Vine first came out, I was so sour about the dumbest thing ever. I was so pissed off. I'm like, why are these people getting millions of views for 6 seconds?
A lot of YouTubers are mad about it.
I felt the same way.
I was like, I'm editing for hours for this 5-minute fucking video. And these people are taking little clips that are 6 seconds and blowing up. I was so mad. So I'm like, fuck Vine. I'll never do Vine. And now I'm like, wow, I wish I did Vine.
It was pretty common for almost all YouTubers to not like it, or at least at first for a while, to not try on Vine because we were against, it was a fight. There was like a YouTubers versus Viners like kind of beef for a little bit. And when we would do shows and meet and greets, that would be a big discussion from viewers. They'd be like, do you like this person? Do you guys get along? And they'd be like, not really, you know? So there was definitely a thing for a while, honestly. Like, I think because it was a low effort website app. It was
low effort, dude.
And it was still
TikTok.
creative, but yeah, TikTok. At least TikTok now, though, like there are people that blow my mind on TikTok, but Vine essentially was just a point and shoot. And yeah, I remember just thinking like, man, that sucks. Like we work really hard on our editing. And so I think it was a lot of us felt the same way. And it did propel a lot of them though for a while, to be honest. Like it did help a lot of them blow up on YouTube, ironically. So yeah, I agree. It probably was
Joey
stupid.
Salads too, people like that.
Yeah, Joey Salad.
It was stupid for us not to be on it, but I learned my lesson and started doing TikToks for fun just because I was like, all right, I don't want to just miss the boat of, you know, some possibilities. So, you know, I started posting for fun TikToks on a shit posting account a couple years ago and having fun with that. So yeah, I'd kind of learned from my Vine days of not being so upset at new things or not being so grouchy.
Yeah, I wish I accepted it more instead of being so like what a Grinch about it, because I was so pissed off. I'm like, this will never work. Are you kidding me?
I was the same exact way.
You know what it was? It was the pandemic that really ramped up TikTok. And
for sure. I actually started it during the pandemic because I was like, what the fuck else am I going to do right now? So I
didn't watch TikTok until the pandemic. Like,
yeah, it literally changed everything.
D'Amelios were any shit like that. Like, I had no idea until the pandemic.
I wish I still didn't know who the D'Amelios were, but you know, that part of TikTok is pretty cringe. But there's a good part of TikTok that I enjoy, that I like, and I actually like what the app does now. Pete does stuff on there sometimes. I'm on there from time to time, and you know, just posting things for fun. It's actually a pretty good place to be, in my opinion.
No, I love it. I love TikTok.
They promote people better. They promote people better there.
Yeah, way better. Yeah,
way better. Yeah.
Much better than they do on Twitch. Twitch is really hard to grow on, but TikTok is.
Twitch is
so Ryan, you're doing Twitch now, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing. I was doing a podcast with the Dolan twins. They were a really humongous YouTube group for a while. I was writing and producing for them. Then they launched a podcast. I moved to LA to do that with them, and then the pandemic happened. So then the studio shut down. They built a studio in their house. They're obviously very well off. And we were doing video podcast. It was doing really well. It was, you know, top 20 podcast for a while. And then once the pandemic stuff hit, they started going in a different direction. I mentally was in a different direction. And my friends and us were playing Among Us, but I was just playing on my phone on Discord. I wasn't streaming. And the Among Us thing started taking off so much as a friend group with my friends that I just started streaming as well. So I got a boost from my friends already doing Twitch. My friend JC, who now is the person I live with, was getting a really good following on Twitch. He was a huge YouTuber. He was an O2L. And I just started Twitch streaming just to figure it out. I did not like it for the first year. I didn't even really take it seriously, to be honest. I just was kind of like figuring it out. It was confusing. And then within the last about year and a half or so, I really just started enjoying it and streaming almost every day. And now it's my full-time thing now is Twitch. I just do like what I used to do on YouTube, like reaction stuff. I'll watch episodes of shows, you know, kind of treat it like my own variety show. I have a soundboard, and as you can see, just a bunch of shit behind me. And I have like the streamer thing down pat now, and it's been really fun. I've learned a lot from it. But Twitch is the hardest platform in the world, and I mean that without a shadow of a doubt. Most human beings, you can go on Twitch, you can stream every day, you'll get one viewer, and that's sad, but it's just true. It's the hardest platform on earth.
I've tried. Yes.
It is insane.
So Twitch isn't all video games?
No, Twitch is actually pretty big with
that's how ignorant I am. I thought Twitch was all video games, and people are always
just chatting is their biggest is their number one viewership, and just chatting is just anything that's not video games, whether it's IRL streams, you're outside with a camera doing things, or watching stuff, reacting, talking, whatever, just any day stuff. That's their number one, and then video games is their number two. I did play video games for the first year, but I like the control of playing video games is tough because you got to concentrate on that, and it's hard to do both with the audience, and I wasn't good at that. So I like being more in control of what's going on. And when I was younger, I wanted to be a radio show host, and I had an internship with CBS Radio, and I did all these things. So this is my way of working on radio in a sense, so I treat it like as such at this point. But Twitch is a confusing platform. You can't just like start streaming. There's so many things you got to build and figure out. And it was really challenging. It was the hardest thing I ever tried to learn. Was like, I felt for the first time like I was really old at first. I was like, dude, what is an emote? What are bits? What the hell is all this? And yeah, I just had to learn a lot. I had a Mac at the time. Now I have you can't see it, but I have multiple screens and multiple fucking bells and whistles everywhere. And like, I had to get a PC, and I just had to change everything. And it was a big change, but I'm happy with it now. I have a really nice community on there. They support all my merch drops and all my friend group streams. So it's really easy to cross promote. And I just stream by myself though, but it's easy for me to pop in their streams and help them out with content and stuff. So it's been fun.
Good for you, man.
Thanks, bro. But it is really hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like Twitch is the hardest platform I've ever been on. I don't know why. It's just they don't do a great job of promoting people. So if you have 100 followers, that's hard, and 100 followers will go a long way. Twitch, you could have, TikTok, you could have 10,000 followers, get 10 to 15 views. That's what most people. So Twitch, if you get followers, you'll usually keep them and they stay dedicated. It's just really hard to get them. So it's a platform really built on community and like connections, and it kind of feels like old school YouTube, which is why I like it, because you do know a decent amount of the people in the community. So that's why I think I kind of took a liking to Twitch.
You've piqued my interest. I gotta look into this Twitch thing.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's fun when you figure it out and you're in that world. It's really fun actually. It's yeah, like I said, it's one of my favorite things I do.
Love that. So all right, one of my last questions here is, so who are your favorite like OG YouTubers that you guys used to watch?
We mentioned a few of them, I think.
Smosh is my number one, and they just got reunited, which fucking blew my mind.
Crazy, right?
I was happy to see that.
Me too.
For me, it was Waste Time Chasing Cars. He inspired me the most.
Yes, dude.
That was my number one inspiration when I first started making videos, and like I wanted to learn how to edit because of him. I think
his edits back in the day were so fucking
amazing.
I still can't do that. I still
remember
have
the
no
iPod
idea
commercial.
They were like the old school iPod commercials where like you got the people branching out and shit, doing the same. Oh, dude, yeah.
My knowledge of video editing is still, like nothing that substantial. I don't know how to do that to this day. So he inspired me to like make better videos too and try. And I liked Mitchell Davis, Live Lava Live. He really was like that jump cut style was huge.
He invented the jump cut.
He was like the pioneer, him and Phil. And then even though he got canceled, back in the day, Shane Dawson was a big inspiration because he blew up fast, and he was the first person to make multiple channels and multiple this and that, and like grew all of them separately. And I remember being very impressed with that.
It's insane how he grew.
Yeah. So those three were probably the ones that made me the most like inspired separately, if that makes sense. And What the Buck was a beast. I just liked how current he was.
That's a nice guy too.
What the Buck?
Yeah, What the Buck. He was just really, he was like the first person I watched that I felt like I was watching like an entertainment news show on YouTube. So I felt like he brought a lot of validation. And I liked watching the Will of DC's winners and losers. I watched every one of them. So maybe those 5 were like the ones that I probably watched the most, to be honest.
I remember I had Lisa Nova commented on one of my YouTube videos, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, she was a OG. She was a big deal.
Like, wow, I made it.
Yeah. Now, I don't think I've ever met Lisa Nova, to be honest, but she seems like a nice person.
I found out later on in life that she grew up in the town right next to mine. And I had no idea.
That's pretty wild. Yeah, she's pretty rich. She was a part of Maker Studios, and then that sold. I'm sure she made
with the Badonsky,
there was like Kasim G and shit, right?
That whole crew. They all made a lot of millions. So they did really well off that one because it got bought by Disney.
And as far as YouTubers, I mean, I would say most of the ones Ryan listed, definitely Ray William Johnson, definitely Philip DeFranco, Shay Carl, the Wine Cone. I was a huge fan of him back in the day. He was great. And then James Nintendo Nerd, the angry video game nerd. That's where I got a ton of my subscribers from, because I used to do video responses to his videos.
He was the reason I started eating with my meals, or eating when I watched videos.
Eating with my meals.
Well, no, eating when I watched videos, because he would he told me when the angry video game nerds videos come out, he would order Chinese.
I'd order Chinese food and watch a new video.
So I started doing that. I would just order food and watch videos, like big videos from my favorite YouTubers when they came out, and I'd be like, nice, I'm gonna order food. I do that to this day.
See, it goes hand in hand. And of course, Copy and Chase and Ryan Abe Makes It Happen were my favorite channels back in the day.
Of course.
Yes, sir.
I mean, G19, you know what I mean? Where are you guys located?
I'm in New York still.
Are you in the city?
No. I'm in Westchester.
Where's Westchester?
It's about 25, 30 minutes. It's like the suburbs of New York City, pretty much.
Okay, so I'm in Albany, so you're like 2 hours from me.
Yeah, 2 or 3. Yeah.
Well,
my girlfriend's brother just moved to Albany. He's about 3 hours away. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Ryan? Where are you?
I'm in LA, right in the heart.
Oh yeah, fuck! I forgot about that. I was gonna say, why don't we meet up? But you're like across the country.
I'm very far. Yeah, the dream, the overpriced dream.
The overpriced dream. Well, one of these days, hopefully, we can all share a beer together. But
hell yeah.
I think that's all the time we have today. What a great conversation, guys. We fucking crushed it. A lot of the times I have to do so much editing in this podcast, but this was such a real conversation. I can't thank you guys enough for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, for real. I think we should do this again round 2 in a couple of weeks. Why not?
We could probably do 15 more. I could talk about stuff like this for a long time.
I know, right? I'm like, I'll be up till 4 a.m. talking about this shit.
I agree. I'm always down for, a part 2, part whatever.
Love it. All right.
Subscribe to this man right here, the Garage Boozing Podcast.
Yes, sir. Thumbs it up.
Yeah. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. And we'll talk to you nerds next week.
Peace, brother.
Hey, nerds. Please don't forget the #1 way to support the brand. Buy some merch. We've got hats, hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, and it's all available to you at www.garageboozing.net/shop. And don't forget to follow on all your favorite social media accounts, as well as YouTube at Garage Boozing. And of course, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, whatever the button may be, to the Garage Boozing Podcast on your favorite podcast platforms, so you can be notified as soon as a new episode is released.
Ladies, gentlemen, and nerds. Do you have what it takes to be a guest on the fastest growing, alcohol chugging, and nonsense talking podcast? Well, now is your chance. The Garage Boozing Podcast has new guests every week, and you could be one of them. Just simply log on to www.garageboozing.net. Click the Be on the Show tab and submit your information. It's that simple. Join the boozement or be a loser. Don't miss your chance, because we're taking this to the moon.